How do we think Law extended his sword like that? Like, how do we think he did that? That was crazy, wasn't it? It was bigger, longer than Big Mom. Law is incredible. So this isn't Law's blade, but panel got me in a chokehold. It's so cold. It was raw. All right, Shisui. Let's put you down before the Reaper comes for me, right? Right? Okay. Well, how is everyone today? One Piece chapter 1038 is out, and mixed bag, just to keep it a bean. It was a mixed bag of a chapter. It was like going to Halloween and getting apples with old people candy, but also getting a couple of full-size candy bars. All right, so it's a mixed bag. You got the apple, that's good for you, right? You need it, right? But you're like, I would have much rather more large candy bars, right? That's a really good way to describe this chapter. I'm excited. It's chapter week. We know how crazy things have been without a chapter, right? It's been pretty intense. We're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get into it because this chapter, it's a lot to talk about, at least, right? It's a lot of things that's interesting. Help me! Typically, you guys know this. I don't talk about the cover story or the cover page because it's, I save it for the breakdowns, but this one was really good. There have been a lot of clamor this past couple weeks with chapter breaks about the stakes and tension. This is what we need, right? Niji and Yanji being captured by Big Mom. This is great, right? And I love that, I think I've been saying it. The fact that now I'm gonna start saying Katakuri has a raid suit, okay? And Katakuri is gonna come back with a raid suit and gonna be many times stronger. I'm partially joking. But no, I love the fact that they were captured. I'm so interested in this cover story now. Like, where is it gonna go from here? I thought it was just gonna be a generic cover story where we follow Germa. They come across some big fish or some poison fish that tries to poison Reiju, but Reiju's too poisonous, so it doesn't work. But then she actually gets poisoned, so then Judge has to cook, and it's something like that, right? Like Oda typically does things like putting these characters in just weird situations, like almost like Bellamy with the flag and Bartolomeo going to Shanks' territory, which is pretty much like Bartolomeo. But people are like, bro, can you get to the goddamn? All right, let's let's talk about the chapter. The best fight in One Piece currently, Raizo versus Fukurokuju. I mean, they are both still using the paralysis jutsu. Okay, so does anyone else have this question? Are they just locked in an infinity type thing? Because if they're both using the paralysis jutsu, how do you unparalysize the jutsu? Right? Is it just a mental thing? Like you just gotta, or do you gotta use hand signs? Because if you're both paralyzed, then you both should be paralyzed for good. The fight is whatever, bro. It's one of those gags that's just gone on, but maybe a bit too long, right? Like you're like, okay, it's funny. It's not funny anymore. But it is still funny because it's just like, why is this still going on? Why is this being up there with Law and Kid versus Big Mom and Luffy versus Kaido? I mean, we still have Hiyori versus Orochi, so I expect that's the thing. We expect it to wrap up first before we get into that. So that's probably the thing. But they're both there saying to release the jutsu or they're gonna die. So, I mean, I don't think they die, but it's just like, bro, what are you guys gonna do from here? Moving on from that, we get a moment with Jinbei where it seems like Jinbei was talking to us or the fandom, and Oda is using Jinbei to talk to us saying, hey, a lot of people are gonna burn to death, okay? And I was scared of that. Again, the internet has been talking about the tension in Wano and how it's been non-existent and how people haven't been suffering. The chapter is telling you people are gonna burn to death because of the Kazemba, which you kind of expect, but I don't think that was the real issue here. Of course, I'm joking about Oda talking to the fans through Jinbei and then hearing some of the clamor because the chapters are made well in advance. So, okay, you guys understand, I'm joking, but it is emphasizing that casualties are happening even if you don't notice because there's a lot going on. So I appreciated that. Chopper is now back to normal. The effects have worn off. And then once he said that, I started thinking about the effects that were on Zoro. So him going right into Zoro and the wounds he took. In the recent video, I talked about how Zoro, he hasn't felt the effects of the pill yet, right? Those still have to take effect. That's really weird how I said that. I definitely made it seem like Zoro took a plan B, but in this case, a plan B would be a plan Black Blade because, hey man, there's some strange things going on here. So I was really interested in how that was going to take shape. It's taken shape, and it's the shape of a Grim Reaper, and I have no idea what's going on. Zoro's on his back. There's a Grim Reaper coming with a scythe and his body won't move, right? It reminds me of like sleep paralysis when it's just like, you know, you want to move or want to wake up and you're just like stuck, like you can't wake up. But it could be a multitude of things, right? And I plan on talking about that tomorrow in regards to the things I think that's happening, the most interesting thing, the least interesting thing, but it's something really interesting. And I expected that for Zoro. I didn't think Zoro was done this arc. And this pretty much confirms it, that Zoro's going to do more this arc. Whether or not it is something major, that remains to be seen, but Zoro is absolutely not done this arc. So great to see. Frankie is pretty close to Zoro. I mean, one thing that's always important is to get an update of where everyone is, just so it's easier to understand, right? In regards to who can save whom, proximity, because for Zoro, there's something that people are talking about. It's like, well, that person, how close were they? Those are some things we'll get into. But so far, you're watching this video, how close are you to clicking that sub button? You're enjoying yourself, you're sitting back, you know, you got some lick, nah. You're just having a good time. But if you are, I would appreciate if you hit that sub button. Sometimes you watch a video, you didn't realize you're not subscribed. If you want more of this good content, hit the sub button. Let's move on. All right, bet. Izo. Seems like he took out a lot of small fry, but they have worn him down. He's like, well, they're fodder, but they're strong fodder. So they did a number on him. Now he's approached by CP0, Cypher, Pole, Aegis, Zero. There's just a way how Oda does his paneling with how people hype people walk in, how they walk up. I just get so excited, right? I get really excited when that happens because it's just like, it's a One Piece thing. If you don't read One Piece, you don't understand, but it's just the reveals. Do you guys remember the Toby Roppo and how hyped we were from seeing feet? Like all we saw were feet, shoes, a few swords. It was just like, whoa, who are those guys, right? And that's when Jin started popping up, and Enel, Crocodile. It was a lot of people. No one said Enel. I lied. No one said Enel. Crocodile and Jin for sure, but no one said Enel. Enel was the chapter with who we presume to be Hiyori, where they heal the scabbards. That was funny because I had Enel in the thumbnail and people were like, yo, why would you spoil? What if it is Enel? If it is Enel, I got a bridge I want to sell you. Like what a bridge to Skypea. Come on, guys. But yeah, Cypherpole was a lot more pacific. Is pacifistic a word? I don't think so. But Cypherpole was a lot more calm this chapter, where like they came in guns blazing, like going after everyone that's in their path. Like, get out of my way. Like, we're Cypherpole. After they've, they're now trying to apprehend Nico Robin. Here they're like, you know what? We heard you were here. Okay, but let's act like this didn't happen. We're going after the Straw Hats, which is telling me that they're like, okay, X-Drake was a bit more than we expected it to be. We gotta save some of our energy and stamina for the Straw Hats because they may be a bit more than we think. So they're trying to avoid the conflict until they get to the Straw Hats because that's their main goal, And typically for agents like that, they want to accomplish their main goal. So they're like, okay, Izo is not even worth our time. Like, we should probably apprehend you, but whatever. Izo, of course, being Izo, and he was trying to protect Kinemon and Kiku. It's weird because everyone tries to throw their life away. Everyone is trying to sacrifice for each other. So then nobody gets away because everyone is trying to sacrifice for each other. It's like somebody got to sacrifice and so others can escape. You guys can't just keep sacrificing for each other and everyone ends up dead, right? So that's what Izo's doing here because he can't beat Cypherpole, right? Even if you think he wins 1v1, he can't beat them together. I do think, however, Marco shows up to help him because where is Marco? Where is he? Like, seriously, like, what are you doing, Marco? Literally, I don't know. Hopefully we get something in regards to that. Yamato, right? Someone did say they can't wait for the anime to animate Yamato running the entire time to the armory because, well, the animation is going to be pretty superb. And I agree with that. I mean, can't wait. However, Yamato is fighting the Kizenbo, and then, I don't know. It's like she's fighting an organism that she really can't defeat, so she has to hold it off until things kind of settle down. So it wasn't all that interesting. It's what I liked about it is that she finally got there, and now we can move on to some other things. So, I mean, that was fine. Long Kid versus Big Mom. Long Kid at the beginning of this paneling, of this section, it seemed like they were done. Like they were knocked out. And Big Mom, she's talking her smack, right? Looking as thick and big as ever, living up to her Yonko status and her Yonko name. So then she tries to fly away. She talks about Kaido and playing with his food. And, she uses an attack on the underlings, right? Law's trash crew and Kid's probably less trash crew. But she doesn't attack Kid and Law again with any of the attacks because I guess she assumed that they were knocked out or just done completely, which I'm like, Big Mom, you're kind of playing with your food too, no? Hard to say, but it seems like Big Mom is saying that she's beat, so Big Mom is tired. So Kid and Law, they've done a number on her, okay? Kid has been choke slamming her to death, using every fucking wrestling move in the book, and it has been doing its job, okay? I don't care what you guys say about Kid. He's gonna get these attacks off. They're not as flashy as Law, right? But they are effective, seemingly. Honest opinions of this fight so far, all right. Like I did tell you guys, I was more interested in this fight than Luffy versus Kaido because I thought it would be a bit more interesting how they resolved this, but they used their same awakening attacks again. I think Kids was new, the Gormadillo. I love seeing Shock Willie. That is fantastic attack. Oh my gosh, Law is amazing. And again, his sword, elongated sword. What? There's a lot of Bleach stuff going on in this chapter. Is Oda, you know, hyped for the Bleach comeback as well? Because we all are. Man, I gotta rewatch or reread Bleach because it's a lot I forgot and I want to be up to date or at least know what the hell is going on with 1,000-year blood. Okay, One Piece. Kid standing up again was pretty cool because he talked about Big Mom and the beams and finally telling them to respect his magnetic field, which I'm like, forced them to respect you, forced them to bow, make them kneel. Remind me of 300 when he was talking to Leonidas. Anyway, I keep going off on tangents. This chapter is making me think about so many different things. Okay, Kid says he has a weird reason to keep fighting, right? He talks about Kaido and him nearing his limit. I guess he's basing it on Big Mom. Oda is telling us that Kaido is nearing his limit, telling us that Kaido versus Luffy is drawing towards its conclusion. And then Kid got on his bull and rode it all over Big Mom. I think Frankie gave everyone the tech, basically defeating Big Mom. You just ride all over her, ride on her, ride her. Yeah, Punk Cornadillo, I don't know, it's one of those attacks where I can't really tell how much damage it's doing, but it's effective enough because Kid, to his credit, has been overpowering Big Mom a lot. Like, he's physically a menace, and durability, stamina, he is spectacular. Like, we cannot dismiss that, but I can't help but feel a bit underwhelmed with his attacks. Just a bit, right? Maybe it's because it's next to Law, or my headcanon is messing with my perception of what's happening. Who knows? But I think it's fine, a fine attack. I don't think Big Mom is done. I think Big Mom still has more to go. If she is done, absolute garbage fight, right? Because we expect a lot more from Big Mom, but I don't think she's done. And it seems like the objective for Kid and Law is kind of changed, where are they now stalling, right? Doesn't it feel like that? Like they're like, well, okay, we're gonna beat you. We're gonna defeat Big Mom. You will pay. And I was like, okay, we're not gonna let you get to the rooftop, okay? That's for Luffy. Feels like a Straw Hat. Kid is now a Straw Hat. Overall though, guys, pretty good chapter. Like I said, a mixed bag. A lot of good stuff, large candy bars, apples, old people candy, but overall good stuff. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about the chapter? What did you think about everything? I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good chapter. I have my qualms with certain things, but we're gonna wait until those things are resolved to see how we feel about it. But yeah, One Piece is back. No break next week. Right? And we got a lot more content planned. So guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video. If you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BrogODAce. Follow me on Instagram at BrogOD.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so well. I appreciate you guys so much. Yo, I don't know what's going on. Again, like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.